name is Hope King, and I'm the designer behind King's Designs MD. Today is our next episode of Crafting in Heels, where it combines two of my favorite things, which is crafting and high heel shoes. Tonight we are going to do a card for our men, a Valentine's Day card, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I want to show you how I designed these cards. A few people asked specifically about the cards for men, so let me show you what I did. You guys already know when I'm going to add a page just so it's blank, but you guys know when I am designing, I click elements, I go to lines and shapes, and I like to add my lines as a cut and a score line. So I'm going across, creating my lines, and I take my line weight all the way down to 1. I like to change my color to a light gray so that the line is visible for me. Now I'm hitting duplicate, and I'm flipping this to a 90-degree angle so that I can run my line from top to bottom. And if you're ever curious, if your line doesn't feel straight, if it doesn't look straight, you can go on your line and move it around. Once it hits that purple, once it turns purple, you know it's in the middle. And the same thing for this one. If it's up too far, once you put it here and it turns purple, you know it's in the middle. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to my uploads, and I'm going to find some of these images. So give me a minute. Alright, so I've gone through my images and I found the two that I used before. And I'm just going to rotate them again to a 90-degree angle and move them into place. So I'm going to get him here on the side, and I want his shoulder to basically touch the edge of my card. And I can enlarge him. If I want to make him look a little bit larger in the picture, I can. And then I'll do the same thing for my next guy. I will rotate him on a 90-degree angle, move him into place. Oop. If you ever go out, you can just click your back button at the top. But I can move him into place. And the next thing I need to do is pick my text box over here. So I click a text box, add a heading, and I'm going to type Happy Valentine's Day. And now I am going to rotate my text box again on a 90-degree angle. I am going to shrink it down because I want it to fit on the side of my card. And now I can go shrink my text down. Now you can shrink this down by just using your text over here, or you can click on it and choose the number size that you want. So it says Happy Valentine's Day, but I want to move it in a little bit more and down. So I can again enlarge it if I wanted to enlarge it here. But I want to make sure I don't cut it off on the side of the card where the score line is. Now I am going to duplicate that, and I'm going to move that over here. Now you see it's more space because depending on the design, it's going to give you the amount of space, whatever the amount of space is left over on the side. I'm going to shrink my lines down on this one, and I'm going to change the font. Now one of the fonts that I like to use is Bangers. Now if you want, you can shrink it in some more so that each is on a different line, and there you go. Now if you want to make it larger, you can expand it out here using your arrows. And you can change this one if you want. Another one of my favorites is Place Script, and you can again expand it, shrink it down using the side part, and expand it using the arrows. And if the lines look too far apart to you, you can shrink it using your line spacing and just move it and get it how you like it what you want it to look like. But that's a way that you can make a Valentine's Day card for a man. So now we will download by clicking the arrow at the top. I personally like to save it as a PNG file as a download. I just like the way it comes back up on my computer, so I'm going to download it and then I am going to print it. Okay, so I am at my desk and I just wanted to show you a few of the cards that I've made for Valentine's Day. So each of these cards was designed in Canva. They all look a little different, but you'll notice these are the two that you'll see, the two images that you'll see tonight. So I'm going to put these to the side. So this is the card design that we worked on tonight. And I'm just going to show you how I cut the card and score the card. So I'm using my eCraft scoring board. You can use any scoring board that you have. You can also cut this and score this with scissors. But we are going to cut straight down this line and then we're going to use our scoring tool to score these in half. So I'm just going to slide this under here. Because I use my scoring lines that I showed you when designing, you'll see that I'm just going to line that line up. So I'm going to match my gray line with the cut line that's in the middle of the scoring board itself. So I've got that lined up. And now I am going to slice. So now I have my two cards separated. And these are different than the ones that I did for women. The ones that I did for women and couples were the same sheet of cardstock, but they were printed the long ways. This is just printed the short way. So now I'm just going to take this over. I'm going to choose my first line just because it's easier to line things up. I am lining my scoring line up here, which is that second gray line. I'm pulling out my scoring tool, and now I'm just going to press down into that line, which is going to create the scoring mark. So now we have that card. I'm going to do this again, and I am going to press down into the line, and now we have the scoring mark. Now my card, I can tell something wasn't quite right when the card was designed, because I can see that this side is a little shorter than that side. So when you're designing, remember I showed you the purple line, just make sure that it is exactly even so that when you fold your card, you get an even score line. Now you can design the card to look like this if you want. Some people do a staggered design where you have a longer back and a shorter front, but if you want to make it even, make sure you set that center line, that purple line, in the center so that you have an even card. Again, some people do this and they put a design down here, or they just leave it like that so that it's a open flat. But if you want it to look like this one, make sure your line is even in the middle and you'll have this design. So here we go. These are our card designs for tonight. I hope this helps somebody. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.